Thank you, Dirk. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me here. Very happy to be at an annual INSTO meeting again. My name is Carolina, and I come from the Australia Southwest Sustainable Tourism Observatory. And today I will be presenting on participatory approaches and evidence use in our tourism region. Let's see if it works. Oh yeah, it doesn't work, so I will just let you know, I think. No, that's fine. So a bit of an introduction to the region. As the name suggests, we are located on the southwest area of Australia, particularly in the state of Western Australia. This region is about 63,000 square kilometers and is home to around 260,000 inhabitants. There's a number of economic activities going on in this region, and tourism has been playing an increasingly important role. Next, please. Some stats from tourism, from this increasingly important activity in our region. According to last year's numbers, we had 3 million overnight visitors, 4 million day trip visitors, and overall, on average, overnight visitors spend around 142 American dollars every day. And in general, tourism represents 9% of our gross regional product. So it's a really important activity. And the region is quite interesting because it features a number of products. We've got stunning beaches, but we've also got national parks, we've got caves, wine, food, events. Now the focus is on the development of wellness tourism. So it's a really interesting space to go and spend time at. Next slide, please. How our observatory is organized. So the Australia Southwest Sustainable Tourism Observatory is hosted by the Tourism Research Cluster at Curtin University. And we are in charge of the implementation of the observatory's operation. But we work very much closely with a working group of these 5 key institutions. Tourism Western Australia, our state tourism organization, the Australia Southwest Tourism Organisation, the regional one, the Margaret River Bustleton Tourism Association, the Department of Biodiversity, Conservation and Attractions, and the Royal Automobile Club. And they are not just close partners, but they also play a very important role in terms of decision making. So they are the ones who decide on the working program of the observatory. And after we collect the data, gather findings, we present those findings to them and we discuss these findings with them. So our approach is that to make an attempt to come to a shared interpretation of the data that we gathered and of the insights that we are providing to the region. And we work with a number of partner organizations that are listed there who support the work that we do and help us to collect the data as well. Next slide, please. So one of our key projects I mentioned last time as well, and we've had so far 4 waves of this resident survey, which is really key for us. We started in the year 2020, and it really has become a key instrument to support evidence-based decision-making in the region. There is broad consensus that this project is really important for all stakeholders. No one else is doing anything similar to this, and everyone agrees that it's important to get that social thermometer of how residents are perceiving tourism development in the region. It consists basically of an online questionnaire where we ask residents about their perceptions of the impacts of tourism, the behavior of visitors, and the management of tourism. And we implement this survey in close partnership with local governments. The region is home to more than 15 local government administrations, and they help us to distribute this survey and get responses from as many residents as possible. Next slide, please. So some of the results Oh, I forgot to mention something from the previous one, sorry. Among the results that we have gathered, we see that residents perceive both positive and negative features of tourism development in the destination. So on the one hand, they claim that tourists are friendly, they are respectful, they adapt to the local environment, and they appreciate their culture. And there's mostly an agreement on all of those things from the residents with different demographic characteristics. But on the other hand, what we have seen is that they sort of complain that tourists concentrate more and more on popular hotspots around this region. Next one. And last year, we included an open question in our survey where we asked about their suggestions for the development of tourism. And we analyzed these answers in a qualitative manner and came up with a number of themes to group their answers. Different things came up, so suggestions that had to do with infrastructure, with attractions, with conservation, with community and indigenous aspects. And importantly, in relation to the issue I mentioned in the previous slide, there were many suggestions that were related to the importance of tourism dispersal and taking into account and diminishing seasonality in the region. Next slide. And this is basically the way that we understand the role of our observatory. The resident survey has served as the purpose of understanding some of the problems that the region is facing in tourism terms, and we want to subsequently work on other projects that can help us to solve those problems. And we have started working on this visitor tracking project to try and really provide solutions to these concentration problems that we identified. And this goes pretty much in line with what our colleagues from the Philippines were saying about using the outputs, the findings from some of our projects as an input for other projects and to continue and deepen the work that we are doing. Next one, yeah, that. And this approach, we understand, has got these three key characteristics. The approach is resident-driven because it comes from what the residents are saying, what they identify are the issues in their own region. It's participatory because, as I mentioned, we carry out this resident survey in close collaboration with local government administrations from the region and also with the support and input from our key stakeholders with whom we interact, to whom we present our findings, and with whom we discuss those findings. And they are being very interested in everything that has got to do with the residents and their perceptions. And it's evidence-based because these projects are really based on sound research and methodologies. Next slide, please. And yes, something I already mentioned last time, but I think it's important to highlight is how we understand that the observatory can generate evidence to support decision-making and to support evidence-based decision-making. We understand that our role is to try and support all of the different stages in the tourism policy cycle. This cycle that we can understand as a cycle, as a simplified process with 5 stages, starting with agenda setting, moving on to policy formulation, decision-making, implementation, and evaluation. And we, our aim is to try and support all of the stages of this process, from providing insights that have got to do with the identification of issues in the region, moving on to trying to solve those issues, and then our next stage will be to try and see if those solutions are actually generating the positive impacts that we want. Next slide, please. So that's everything I had to share with you today. Thank you for your attention.